Welcome back to Starkiller Base. Today we have the featured match from the round 3 of the Black Knight Games Regional in February 2018. Once again, Legacies was legal and Rivals was not. On the left we have myself, John Gobet, playing Po2 eAayla. And on the right we have Daniel C. playing eQui-Gon eYoda. I brought Moisture Farm to the table and he brought the Obi-Wan's Hut. I brought Moisture Farm because this had happened right after all of the Hondo deck wins, so I wanted to make sure that I had the money to pay him off if I needed to. It's super handy. If you claim, you get that $1 and then a Hondo special. You can just pay him off with it. Looks like Daniel wins the roll-off and takes my battlefield, puts 2 shields on Qui-Gon, which is a pretty good choice in a Qui-Gon deck, of course. I started with a 4-speed on eAayla. He calls me with a 4-speed on eYoda, and then I raise with a second 4-speed on eAayla. And it looks like Daniel's going to activate eYoda here. So we got a 2 focus, a discard, and a shield. Having the profitable connections start on Po eAayla is really great because you can start off with things like a handcrafted lightbow, and in a matchup against Qui-Gon, handcrafted lightbow was amazing. Daniel's basically going to have to spend his entire game mitigating that die. And with eAayla specials and Po specials, basically you'll have to do whatever it's showing, as long as I've got a special out that can turn it over there, because the last thing Qui-Gon wants to do is lose his shields and take some more damage. This is my first time playing against a Qui-Gon eYoda deck. There's a Shoto down on Qui-Gon, and I roll in eAayla. I got a blank, a 4-speed special, and a 1 resource. As I was saying, first time against this deck. I think it's like the 3rd time I've played Po eAayla. I learned later that I should probably kill eYoda first in this matchup, but in this particular game I go for Qui-Gon first. Qui-Gon rolled in, gets a resource, a blank, and a 2 shield. So I go for 2 actions. I roll in Po. I hit a blank, a 2 focus, and a Po special, so now I can, with my second action, chain specials and resolve that lightbow, which would be pretty good. We'll see what I do here. A lot of blanks, but the focus can fix all of those if I really wanted to. Could do the focus chain. Unpose dice there and change eAayla to a 2 melee, a 4-speed special, and a lightbow special, but I think I'm better off just chaining and doing that effective 4 damage to Qui-Gon there. But we shall see. Can do a double chain, of course, and fix 2 dice and get a couple shields, which is always nice. So I take a shield on Po and change 4-speed to a special. Resolve for 2 actions. First action, I'm going to use the 2 focus there to go for a light speed special and a 2 melee on eAayla. I play a lot of shenanigans in this deck, like doing stuff like that and then using guard to get rid of key dice and that sort of thing, so I'm not exactly sure what I did here. It's been a while. There it is. So there's the guard. I got rid of the 2 shields and the other Qui-Gon die because he basically can't do any damage aside from taking shields on Qui-Gon without his Qui-Gon dice. So it seems like a decent choice. He's still got plenty of dice fixing and cards in hand here, so we'll see what Daniel does. Does the double focus, eYoda special, 4-speed special. So I think it's definitely time to resolve that lightbow special now, because 2 actions can always mess with things. Like he could take the resource off of the Shoto and then use it for mitigation. Yeah, use it to take the resource and do force misdirection or something like that. Which, ironically, I just said to Daniel. I guess I know myself. So he's resolving eYoda special to get a resource and put a shield on Qui-Gon. 2 actions. Maybe take the resource and then just claim. He's going to lightsaber pull with his second action. So he's got $2. I'll take my resource. I know he's probably got another action to go here, so I can afford to take the resource before taking the battlefield, because he's likely to play out the Shoto before he passes, because, I mean, why wouldn't you? I do apologize for my clearing my throat in this in this matchup. I was not doing very well this day. I had just gotten over a 3-day trip to the hospital and was still kind of sick. So, all right. So he plays out the Shoto. I claim, and I have $4 going into the next round, which is pretty darn good. Discard Unbreakable because I only have one shield. He's got no real threats with specials, so Unbreakable doesn't do too much. And he can obviously just roll in Qui-Gon and get rid of that shield really quickly, so I'll be resolving Unbreakable to get rid of specials, and that's about it. Blanks, that sort of thing. So we go for an Heirloom on eAayla, which is pretty good, especially with the 4 speeds there. This deck was not geared specifically to chain focuses all day long. It was more of a hybrid deck. So I don't know. To be honest, I'm not sure that I had any business doing as well as I did in the tournament, but I was able to play the deck well enough that I performed well. So Yoda rolls in. He gets a blank, a Yoda special, and a shield. I roll an eAayla. I get a blank, a shield, a blank, 4-speed special, and a shield. And Daniel chains some specials to get some money. And then takes 2 actions. First action, he pays 2 for a lightsaber, ancient lightsaber rather. Tempted to say I would have left the 4-speed special out there until I played the ancient lightsaber, then used it to take 2 actions and roll in Qui-Gon and resolve immediately, because he could do like 10 damage, 11 damage with that potentially. So I discarded reroll eAayla dice because they were terrible. I got a shield, a 2 indirect, a 4-speed special, and a resource. I did that with my 4-speed, so now I'll resolve another 4-speed special. I'll roll in Poe. I've got a light bow special, a 2 focus, and a 2 focus, so I can definitely do some dice fixing. I resolve the light bow special first with my second action, so it doesn't get mitigated because there are a million 1 resource or melee sides out there. And then next action I can do the focuses and turn eAayla's dice into like 7 melee damage, which would be pretty darn good. I think Daniel forgot his Shotos this particular time. He remembers them from now on. I mean, it's kind of important, so. But they're optional, and in a regional, I'm not going to remind my opponent unless I'm feeling really nice. Daniel is definitely a tough opponent, so not sure I wanted to give him an edge if I didn't have to. So it looks like Qui-Gon's going to resolve some melee. 4 into eAayla. With redeploy on her and light bow on Poe, I'm not too sad to see that happen. So I resolve focus. Turn the Heirloom to a 3 melee and eAayla to a 2 melee. And then I resolve the other focus. I gave it some thought because there's only 3 dice to focus, but still pretty darn good. And I'm very happy that he resolved his melee sides. Waited for doing that. So he plays Overconfidence. I reroll. I get a 2 melee and a 2 indirect. So obviously he's going to get rid of the 2 melee because I'm focusing on Qui-Gon here. So Qui-Gon is up to 6. Daniel takes his resource. He's got 2 cards left in hand. I may as well resolve the 2 indirect. It's damage. I mean, if Qui-Gon was at 9, I'd reroll that all day long, but no, I just claim because I guess I don't care about damage on Yoda. Qui-Gon is the one that needs to die definitely, so it makes sense. And chances are, if I resolve that 2 indirect, then Daniel would claim, and I'd be behind by a delta of 2 resources. So I actually found that a lot of battlefields were using my battlefield against me this game because of I'm sort of a slow, meticulous player to some degree, and this wasn't exactly, like I said, it wasn't a special chaining deck, so it's it could have been better. So it looks like Daniel pops his Ancient, and then we start the next round.
Here's that 6. You should be at 4.
And then Daniel remembers that 6 minus 2 is 4, so that's good too. I don't think I noticed that one. The Ancient heal brought him to 5 damage instead of 4, which wasn't quite right. So I roll an eAayla. with my deck, I'm running guards and force misdirections and that sort of thing. So getting eAayla in early, particularly when she has dice like that, is a really good play. So I got a shield, a resource, a 1 melee, a 3 melee, and another shield. I know with Qui-Gon that they can't do too much, particularly when they have no shields, at mitigating any dice, because they rely on things like force misdirection and guard, that sort of thing. So I should probably resolve some melee damage now. If I had a 4-speed special, I'd definitely take it and then roll in Poe, but I mean, there's 4 damage there, nothing to scoff at. So I almost played guard there, so there's force misdirection, get rid of his melee sides. That's one of the things about getting in there 1 turn early in a blue mirror match there, is that if I get melee and he gets melee, I have the first action to get rid of his melee sides. So all he's left is two blanks right now, which is less than good. I think I'd actually, again, be rolling in eYoda first, and then trying to get those 4-speed specials. To roll in Qui-Gon and resolve dice without being mitigated. So I put an Ancient Saber out on Poe, because he has room for upgrades mostly. It would be useful on eAayla, but it can now roll in and connect with some melee sides, so it's not terrible. So eYoda comes in, gets a 2-focus, a shield, and a 4-speed special. So there's all kinds of things he can do with that, unfortunately. Take 2 actions, double focus, and then remove stuff. So I play guard now, and I'm getting rid of the Qui-Gon die and both of eYoda's dice, leaving Daniel with a blank Shoto and a couple of 4-speeds, all of which don't do much. So that's a pretty good move in my mind. Admittedly, I lose out on 3 damage, but you know, with the economy and die fixing that he could pull off with those dice, I think it was, well, I guess I must have thought it was a good trade-off. So Poe comes in here, 2 focus, 1 range, a +3 melee, and a shield. So again, I can use Poe's 2 focus to chain into Poe's other focus and fix 3 dice, which can do some pretty good stuff there, like a 2 melee on eAayla and a light bow special. So he takes 2 actions, he rerolls his Shoto, and he's probably going to play force misdirection here, I'm guessing. The Shoto does have 3 melee sides, so it was a pretty good call. We'll see here what he does, because resolving 1 damage is a lot less good than removing 4. Oh, he's got guard there, okay. So he gets rid of the eAayla 1. So I guess he didn't have a force misdirection. Not quite as good, but it requires me to now, you know, use my focus for other things, which is still pretty good. So Qui-Gon is sitting at 4 damage and 2 shields. I did a bit of math because I have an all-in in hand. I just wanted to make sure that I could actually do it. I'm trying to get the kill on Qui-Gon, because if I can take Qui-Gon out right now, then life is pretty good. So I do double focus, light bow special, and eAayla's 2 melee. So that puts him to 6, and then 5, including the Ancient Saber, kills Qui-Gon, and that probably is going to seal the game, but we'll see. So I put 1 damage into eYoda with that 1 ranged, and then take 2 shields. So Qui-Gon is dead. eYoda has 9 hit points left with a chance cube and 2 4-speeds, all of which do 0 damage. With the upgrades out on Qui-Gon and him being able to do the double Shotas every turn, that was definitely a big change. So Daniel claims, and I do a lightsaber pull. We'll see what I grab here. A light bow. Kind of funny that you can pull a light bow with a lightsaber pull, but it is weapon, blue weapon, so. And Poe with 2 light bows on it is pretty disgusting. So we'll see how this goes here. So Daniel is up to 5 resources. If he can get some damaging upgrades out here, then he can still pull it out. I've seen eYoda do some pretty interesting things by himself. Had happened to me last night in a store championship, believe it or not. Somebody had an old kit and they ran it. It was pretty cool. So Yoda puts out a Vibro Knife and rolls in, gets a 1 discard, a Yoda special, a 4-speed special, a shield, and a 1 melee on that Vibro Knife. It's not exactly the best damage dice out there, but if that's all you got, then it's a start. So eAayla comes in here, gets a 2 indirect, a 2 indirect, a 4-speed special, a 4-speed special, and a 1 melee. So Force Misdirection could definitely do some interesting things here. Get rid of those 4-speed specials and then you actually can mitigate stuff. But we'll see. Daniel's definitely got to be playing on the defensive here for a little bit until he gets some more upgrades out on Yoda, or some better ones anyway. Pays 2 for Mind Trick. I was just going to say he was running Mind Trick that day, so basically I'm going to do a 4-speed special and a 2 indirect on each side, and the heirloom on one side, and then he's going to get rid of that one because it's got the extra die, obviously. But I have a 4-speed special still, so I can roll in Poe and then resolve, which is still pretty darn good. The Qui-Gon Yoda deck has a lot of money in it because of Yoda's ability, or Yoda's special rather. So he can definitely do some good work with 2-cost die control cards and whatnot. So Daniel's resolving some specials here.
When you do an action, you can. Yeah, so after you take an action, you may exhaust it or choose an opponent. That opponent cannot take the same action. Actions are almost this. Discard a card.
2 actions, 1 damage to eAayla through those shields there. And he takes another shield. So now I'm taking 2 actions. He does run Unbreakable in the deck, obviously, so having 3 shields can get rid of a pretty troublesome die. So I got 1 Poe special, a shield, a blank, a 2 ranged, and a resource. I resolve the Poe special with my second action to give eAayla a shield, fix the light bow to a special, and get rid of those shields, and 2 damage to Yoda. So he should be at 3 damage, not 4, but such is life, I guess. So the one good thing about there being only 1 character left is that the indirect damage sides on eAayla are just as good as melee, as long as there's no modified melee sides that I can't resolve. So there's 4 more damage for Yoda there without even having re-rolled, which is pretty good. I re-roll, I get another 2 range and a 1 melee. So that is 7 damage there. And Daniel's got 6 hit points and a Force Illusion. So he claims and takes the resource. And I'll just start dishing out the damage. It doesn't really matter which 2 you Force Illusion, because they're all 2s, so Yoda is now at 9. Makes sense. I think he should still be at 8 because of that light bow special, but I mean, it doesn't matter how many shields he gets on him if he can't control the light bow special, whether he's got 1 hit point left or 2, the light bow is going to kill him. So we'll see. It looks like he's just going to roll in Yoda, and I guess maybe he's got a handful of die control cards or something like that. He rolls in Yoda, gets a 2 focus, a 1 focus, a Yoda special, and a resource, so he can force misdirect specials, which is pretty good, but with 1 hit point left, I'm not sure that that's going to matter too much. Definitely, he might have another Mind Trick. His Unbreakable is not going to do very much. So I'm overriding Force Speed with another Ancient Saber, because I've already got a Force Speed out there, so why not? This is a bit of a daunting upgrade suite. See what he can do. Unfortunately, the Vibro Knife can't be used for Force Misdirection because it has to be a blue die, so even if he did something like Focus the vibro knife to a melee. He can't use it to get rid of my melee sides. So it looks like trust your instincts. He's going to reroll. Rerolls into a 2 focus, a 4 speed special, and a 1 discard on the vibro knife. eAayla rolls in a blank, a 4 speed special, 2 eAayla specials, and a shield, which is basically enough to do 6 damage if he can't mitigate the 4 speed special. Overconfidence on the eAayla dice. I reroll them and get a 1 melee and a 1 resource. And Daniel gets rid of the melee, obviously. So I take 2 actions. I roll in Poe. Just need 1 damage here. And I do not get it. 2 focus, a 1 resource, a 1 discard, a 1 resource, and a blank. So second action, I focus Poe's die to a 2 focus and the light bow to a 2. And then I resolve the other focus to focus the heirloom to a 3 and the Poe's blaster to a special. That way I've ensured that he can't get rid of all 3 of those dice and any one of them will kill him. Because I've seen Yoda stick around for 4 or 5 turns sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's it. Because I can't even play a card. That's right. You can't play shield. You can't play anything.
So there's the GG. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time for round 4 on Starkiller Base.